Hi, it's Congresswoman Sewell, and I'm here today at the West Alabama Food Bank, and I'm just so grateful to Jean for helping us host this. For me, as all of you know, we try to go into our communities, all 13 counties every year. So this is just another part of our Congress in your community. Today we held a roundtable discussion about what's available here in Tuscaloosa County to help bridge the gap when it comes to the SNAP cliff. I think all of you know that we're in day 34 of the government shutdown. Nobody wins in a government shutdown. We are obviously quite concerned about the most vulnerable in our communities being able to get through this crisis, and having an opportunity to have to talk with the city, to talk with the food bank, to talk with United Way, and to have our school systems represented gave us an opportunity to really talk about what resources are right here in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama that can help bridge that gap. As you know, there was a court case and 2 federal judges have asked this administration or told this administration that it's totally within their legal obligations, really, to fund SNAP during this government shutdown. I can tell you as a member of Congress, in previous shutdowns, we've always funded SNAP. So this is actually an anomaly, but it looks as if the courts are mandating that the SNAP beneficiaries receive those fundings. We're not sure if it's going to be fully funded or if it's going to be partial funding, and we also don't know when that's going to kick in. I do know that our payment systems in the federal government take time, and so just really grateful to have an opportunity to gather all the stakeholders for West Alabama, Tuscaloosa, to just talk about what's available. I know that no one wins in a government shutdown, but I can tell you that this government can be reopened if we can negotiate a bipartisan funding agreement that fully funds government, that protects our health care, and that fully funds programs like SNAP and WIC. And so, until then, I feel like after our discussion, I feel a lot better about what's going on in West Alabama and about the stopgap measures that are there to really help us. And first and foremost, we have a great food bank right here in Tuscaloosa, the West Alabama Food Bank, led so ably by Jean, and I'd love for Jean to speak. But last I was here was maybe a year and a half ago when we were able to present an $850,000 check as a part of our community projects funding to West Alabama Food Bank, and just want to say again, thank you for allowing us to convene here today, and thank you for all that you do, and I'll give you an opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you. I just want to remind everybody that it does take all of us to help when a crisis occurs, whether it's a natural disaster or it's something like this. If everybody pitches in and partners together, we will get through this. We will make sure that our community is taken care of. We don't want anybody to go hungry. There is help out there. You just need to reach out. United Way has 211. We have a place here on our website. It shows all of our pantries of where you can go. We've upped our mobile pantries, so we'll be bringing it out to communities around everybody. We just want to make sure that everybody is taken care of, and thank you for Senator Sewell, who will help us out and make sure that the funds that we have will go to the people that really need it in this community.
Absolutely. We know that 42 million Americans depend upon SNAP every month to feed their families, and that includes 750,000 Alabamians. And in our district, Alabama 7th Congressional District, that includes 58,000 households. But something that came out of our discussion was that this is not just a crisis for November, December. That is 365 days out of the year, there are hungry families out there. And I just am excited to be able to talk to the stakeholders here in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama about how they're meeting that moment. The city of Tuscaloosa is ably represented by Councilman Joe. So you want to say a few words about what the city is doing?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Again, thank you for your leadership, and thank you for assembling us here today. The city of Tuscaloosa, we currently fund multiple agencies here in town already to meet needs like this. We've charged, the mayor and the council have charged our community neighborhood service department to stay lockstep with our community partners to make sure that every need that arises is addressed. We also, the city of Tuscaloosa also has our 311 system that you can call if you're having any kind of problems, and they can connect you with our community partners that we currently already fund to meet this demand. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to address every need that arises in the city of Tuscaloosa through our community partners. And we'd like to thank our community partner for what you do, not only at times like this, but year round, like West Alabama Food Bank and Temporary Emergency Service and other pantries here in town that we already have, that we already give to. So that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to make sure that no one in the city of Tuscaloosa goes hungry.
Awesome, awesome. We're also very blessed in the state of Alabama to have a very active United Way. And I was just thrilled to have the opportunity just to talk about where the United Way here in West Alabama and how they're stepping up to this moment.
I would like to thank our West Alabama generous community. Our 211 helpline team has been polling our food pantries, and as a result, I'm very proud our board of directors has taken the action to allocate $50,000 from our reserve fund to go to food pantries so that they can help get folks through this difficult time. And this is a temporary solution. We are very hopeful that government entities and corporate sponsors will help match this fund. So hopefully it will not continue too long, because we are really counting on all of our elected officials to come together, putting political beliefs aside and helping individuals meet their basic needs on a daily basis. But we want to thank everybody for their generosity, and Congresswoman Sewell for bringing us together today.
Awesome. We also, one of the things that Jean does is the West Alabama has a backpack. And that's been really instrumental in helping our school system and our children in our schools. And wasn't sure if the superintendent wanted to say a few words, but you're welcome to say a few words about how this is affecting schools and how you guys are responding to that demand.
Thank you. Thank you for assembling us today. It means a lot. Unfortunately, we have this partnership because we fight food insecurity for our students every day. All year round. So that allows this partnership to happen because this community is so committed to making sure no child is ever hungry. A message for our parents of the school systems, we encourage you to keep sending your children to school each and every day, where we can guarantee all 11,000 of our students will receive a hot meal for both breakfast and lunch. We certainly have the ability for the backpacks to go home to provide supplemental materials over weekends. And if there's a need, we have a counselor and a social worker in every school who can connect our families, our students, with the services at New Heights and certainly with these providers. And then our message for our community is to keep doing what you are doing, which is giving. When you are giving to the United Way and when you are giving to the food bank, you are giving to the young people of the Tuscaloosa City Schools, and we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you so much. Wasn't sure if there are any questions from.
Yes, ma'am. As of right now, I know that you've already talked about it a little bit, but do you think whether it's partial funds or fully funds, they'll begin to be released today or this week, based on what you know?
So I think that the court order, I feel confident that 2 federal judges have said it. So there is legally obligated funding that is available to USDA to fully fund the SNAP benefits. I don't think that it will flow today because, as I understand it, one of the courts has asked this administration to submit a plan as to how they're going to spend the contingency fund and how they're going to use it. I think as I said earlier, the contingency fund has about $5 to $6 billion, but it takes more than that to fully fund SNAP. And we also know that there are a reserve fund that USDA has access to that's $23 billion. So combined, they could really fully fund the month of November. And that is our request as members of Congress, that they fully fund it. But we won't know exactly how the funding will turn out and when our families are going to actually get those resources. But I do feel confident that our SNAP beneficiaries will get some resources during the month of November, just not sure how quickly that will come, which is why it's so important that every community understands who's filling those gaps, where to go to find help and assistance. In our district alone, 58,000 households are being affected, and in those households, 44% of those households have children. So when we think about what this crisis is doing. It really does affect our children, it's affecting our seniors, it's affecting our even veterans, but it is a, food insecurity is something that we have to mobilize and organize communities around for 365 days out of the year. It's not just for this crisis. But I know that federal employees are not getting their checks. And so this is more than just, the SNAP affects more than just the SNAP beneficiaries. We're seeing families that have, both the mom and dad who work for the federal government not getting a paycheck in at all. And so knowing where to go for resources is important, and seeing how this community is stepping up to meet this moment is something I want people to see. I think that we in Alabama, given the tornadoes and all the things that we've dealt with, disasters that we've dealt with, we've had to do more with less, and we've always seen neighbor helping neighbor at the forefront of that effort. And so I don't think that this will be any different. I wish I could say I knew when the government shutdown would end. In fact, I think that this administration controls every lever of government: the Senate, the House, the White House, and they can open up government, this president can, at any point, and I would hope that he would do that. I don't want hunger to be weaponized, and none of us want hungry children and families to be in the crosshairs of political discord. And so I'm just grateful that this community has such wonderful partners, and we look forward to filling in and standing in the gap until those resources are available to the families that need it.
Congresswoman Sewell, after having this roundtable discussion, how are you feeling about the resources that are available and what's been able to be done so far? If the shutdown still continues and SNAP benefits are still delayed?
Well, I think that after hearing from the various stakeholders at this roundtable, I'm feeling confident that the Tuscaloosa County and West Alabama will have amazing stakeholders and partners that will come and try to stand in the gap to help those families in need. And I just really want to reiterate that it's not just the SNAP households that are being affected. We have federal employees, we have air traffic controllers and folks at TSA, and even my own staff. We're federal employees that are going to be missing a check. And so, this is affecting whole communities, and so that's really important. Yeah.
This is a little bit of breaking news. I'm told that the Trump administration says SNAP will be partially funded following the judge's ruling. But
Which
it doesn't
judge?
say when, but that's a decision.
So it sounds like this week we should see some movement. Partial funding, yeah. Well, look, I think that I will be leading the charge back in Congress and see if we can fully fund it, because there are resources that are available to this administration to fully fund it, and that are available at USDA as well. So I look forward to leading a letter trying to get full funding, because I know if we can actually bail out foreign governments like Argentina to the tune of $40 billion, surely we could find resources to bail out and assist families in need. And so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to fully fund this. Now, when this kicks off and when it will become available to those families, I don't know. I do know that that any resources will take time operationally to kick in. So we know that families this week and next week may not get those resources.
I actually have a question for Jean, because you brought up something that was very interesting that I don't think a lot of people think about. You brought up senior citizens and how sometimes it's often forgotten. You also mentioned how a lot of them in this time period is going to have to choose between their medication and their food. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, seniors are our one area that we really get concerned about, because their budgets are set. They're usually living off of retirement, living off of pensions. They don't have, it's not like they can work a side gig and get extra money. And, their housing is usually a set payment. Everything is set. They don't have that wiggle room that some other people may have, where they can shift things back and forth. So anytime you have a cold snap or a hot spell, can throw them into a little bit of chaos. But most seniors get between $9 to $15 a month, which $9 is a loaf of bread and a pound of lunch meat. It doesn't get you very far these days. Or a gallon of milk and a carton of eggs. It really doesn't do a lot. And so, to have to take that from their medication where it really will impact their life and sometimes will be an end to their life, because a lot of medications require that you take it with food or with milk or with something. And if they don't have the funds to purchase that or the funds to purchase their medication, it really puts them into a downward spiral that can have long-term complications where now they're back in the hospital, now there's more doctor visits. And we say it's like a hamster wheel, they get on, they can never get off. So that's an area where we get really concerned anytime there's a disruption in their lives.
So I want to say in closing that there are resources available for Tuscaloosa County and West Alabama. Start with 211 by dialing 211. A team of people nationwide, but specifically for Alabama and for our county, can actually provide some assistance and direct people where they can go. I also want to just put in a plug that we have amazing churches that are doing food drives. But I also want everyone to know that they can give to the United Way. They can give money to the West Alabama Food Bank, and they can purchase the foods that they need to continue these boxes to those who are in need in our community. So in closing, I just want to say that we are in the midst of a crisis, and it really is a crisis of affordability. It's not just about food. I think that people are seeing rising gas costs and energy costs. And so, this is more than just about food. It is about how we as Americans want to live our lives. And I think it's really important that government is fully funded. And I think it's really important that we take care of the health care. I mean, on top of receiving no benefits November 1st, a lot of my constituents, a lot of folks are receiving their rate increases for their healthcare premiums, and those are going sky high. I can't tell you how many of my constituents that are being affected by that, because they are really quite concerned about it. So we in government have a long way to go to fulfill the needs of the American people, but I make the commitment that we'll continue to fight for all those folks in Alabama's 7th Congressional District and the state of Alabama to make sure that they get the resources they need. All right, thank you all.
Thank you,